Lord's year 2013. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and welcome to this edition of Recovery Monday. On this great Monday, we got a great guest today, Christy. And Christy's really nervous. So what I told her to do was to imagine you listening to the radio right now in your car or at home. Just imagine that you're naked. You are naked. Well, I guess no imagination needs to be taken there.
Okay.
We welcome Christy to the show today. Lila Stafford from Powell CDC, and of course Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, and we're being produced today by Ryan. So, Christy, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Where's home?
Right now I live in West Des Moines.
No. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in Des Moines on the south side.
So were you a South Side girl?
I was a long time ago, but not anymore.
Well, I always heard when I moved to Des Moines in 1978, I had a neighbor next to me by the name of Mike Crandall, and Mike was on the Urbandale Police Department, and he did not like South Siders. Because he said when he gets called over there to do an investigation or something, they're completely different people than those of us on the West Side.
That's probably true. Yeah.
What kind of surroundings were you raised in?
Just, middle class, 4 kids, 2 parents, both working, so very strict.
Yeah. Any drinking when you were a kid?
I started drinking when I was 12.
12?
Actually, really? I smoked a joint first.
So marijuana was the gateway drug to alcohol?
Yes.
Okay. They always say it's the other way around.
Wait a minute. Where did you get the marijuana?
Well,
hey, you don't. What do you want to tell on her, narc?
No, I meant, was it from other kids?
Someone brought it to my house and a joint.
Okay.
And I smoked it with them, and it was wonderful. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I ate a bunch of cookies and drank some milk and
Cheetos.
It was cookies with marijuana in it?
No, after I smoked the joint, I had cookies and
Have you not ever smoked marijuana, Lila?
I did, but I never got it.
You never liked it?
No.
Okay. So that's interesting. All right. So you're 11 years old? Is that what
12.
you said? 12 years old. Somebody brings you a joint. You smoke that. And then when was your first encounter with alcohol?
Oh, gosh, within a matter of days.
Okay. Same group of kids?
Well, yes, pretty much, yeah.
Did you feel peer pressure or were you kind of leading the pack?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved the buzz that alcohol gave you?
I loved the way it made me feel, yes.
And what did you start out drinking, beer or liquor?
Liquor.
Always liquor?
Yeah, I didn't like beer. It was too filling.
Okay, that makes sense.
Drink too much to get where I wanted to go.
Okay.
Were you trying to fit in a group?
Yes,
So you felt like you were part of the group once you were drinking?
Yes, I was really a very frightened child, and didn't interact with other kids very well. And when I got high or I drank or used, I felt like I fit in with everybody else. It made me feel normal. It took away the fear I had.
Is that what, because you kind of came out of your shell then?
Yes.
Did it cause you to, how did it cause you to act? Angrily, goofy, sexy, just...
Well, not sexy, that's for sure.
But sometimes,
I was 12.
Well, but sometimes when guys or gals, it doesn't matter what gender it is, you get too much alcohol in and you're a horn dog. What I'd call a horn dog.
Yeah, that didn't happen to me. That was too...
That would be you.
That was too emotional. There was too many emotions involved with that, so I didn't care much for that.
Okay, right. So you have a twin.
I do.
And was he, did he like the effects of alcohol?
No. He's, there were 2 groups back then. It was like you had the freaks and the jocks, and he was a jock and I was a freak. So, which means I hung out with the kids that drank and used and smoked cigarettes and did all that stuff you weren't supposed to do.
Yeah, when I was growing up, it was the jocks and the hoods.
Okay.
And the hoods hung around the library, which was across the street from the high school.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And so if you were hanging around over there, you were smoking cigarettes, you were drinking, you were...
It's a weird place for hoods to be hanging out.
Well, it was kind of our public library was was on one side of the street, and the high school and the junior high was on the other. So the library was kind of a place to meet in the middle. So do you remember the first time you got drunk, or did you always get drunk?
I always got drunk.
Okay.
Always.
How did that interfere with school?
Well, it actually, I didn't do very well in school until I think I was a sophomore in high school. And I actually sold drugs at that time. And that was my best year academically because I was in class every day.
Because that's where you had your
That's
customers.
where the money was.
Yeah.
So I was in class every day.
What kind of drugs did you sell?
marijuana,
Okay.
mescaline.
Okay.
You know, White Cross, I think is what we call
Yeah,
it.
that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
White Crosses.
I used to get paid
Yeah.
with those.
Speed, right?
Yeah,
That was
4
Speed.
for $1.
And where did you bought them from a dealer?
I got it from somebody else.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And so how would you characterize the kind of person you were in high school?
I just kind of followed everybody else.
Okay.
Whatever anybody else was doing. I wasn't a leader by any means.
Did mom and dad ever figure out you were drinking?
God,
or
yes. Yeah.
how?
One time my brother carried me up the driveway, so that was a pretty clear indication. But once I started, I couldn't stop.
You were a blackout drunk.
Not a blackout, but I would drink until I would pass out.
Okay.
And so I'd come home and I would just be totally wasted. So and I would lie and say I'm not drunk, and that kind of stuff. But I got in a lot of trouble. I was what the courts called an uncontrollable child.
Really?
Yes, I know, hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah. No, because what? You just
I would run away, do drugs.
okay.
And back then you weren't allowed to do that.
Right.
But they really didn't know what to do with kids back then. So I just ended up getting locked up in Meyer Hall.
Okay.
A lot.
Did you need attention? I'm trying to figure out where this is coming from. Why?
I just felt different than everybody else. I didn't feel like I fit in. I wasn't good enough. And when I was high, I felt like I was okay. I felt like I was on even ground with everybody else.
Yeah.
Did you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Did your mom and dad make you feel that way? I mean,
No.
where did that come from?
No, my parents always encouraged.
Okay, so
Encouraged us.
what?
I don't know.
The alcoholic gene?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's the alcoholic gene. I mean, there was nothing my parents did. They were always very encouraging. You can do anything you want. That type of thing. And I just didn't feel good enough.
Any DUIs or anything like that when you were in high school?
Nope.
Should you?
Yes.
Yes.
I was, and I always drove because I was the best drunk driver of the group.
So, no matter who was plastered the most, you were driving.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you get out of high school.
Yeah.
What's your big plans?
Well, I didn't have any plans. I actually didn't graduate. I left home when I was 17 and hitchhiked to Illinois with 2 friends of mine. That one of them was in trouble, and I don't remember what it was, but I was the only one with drugs and money. So I said I would go too, and we hitchhiked, and we ended up in Springfield, Illinois, and they ended up coming back home, and I did not.
So you stayed in Springfield.
Yeah.
What was there?
I met this guy that was much, much older than me that took advantage of me and my vulnerability. And I ended up staying with him and traveling around the country. So
With him?
with him.
So you met him in Des Moines with.
No,
she
I met
in
him in
Springfield.
Springfield.
Well, I wondered why you went to Springfield to begin with.
I don't know.
You were just driving.
We were just, no, we just hitchhiked there. That's where we
Oh,
ended up in
hitchhiked.
this really ratty motel with cockroaches. And it was, it was nasty.
Yeah.
And the two girls I was with wanted to come home, and I didn't.
So what year was this about?
It
75,
would have been
80?
77.
77.
77.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So how long did you travel around with this guy?
I was probably, 6 years.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
5-6 years.
Did you have
Yeah.
contact with your parents or your brother during that time?
No, I came home. I called my parents occasionally, but I didn't see my parents or really talk to anybody for 3 years. Wow. And I came home. I don't know who got a hold of me, but I came home because I had a cousin that was killed, and I came home for her funeral, and that was the first time I had seen or heard anything.
I mean,
my parents.
Let's think about though. This is 1980. You didn't have a cell phone. How did they get a hold of you?
They didn't. They didn't know where I was.
But you came home for the funeral though.
I did.
Just
You know what? I don't
I
know.
don't remember, yeah.
I don't remember.
all right. So when did Christy's our guest today? This is Recovery Monday, sponsored by Powell CDC. Lila Stafford in the house, who is a Well, we don't like to say this out loud, but she's the president of Powell CDC. In fact, it should be named Lila CDC.
Yeah, right.
So during this 6 years, anything goes? Robbery?
No. I always worked.
You always worked?
Yeah.
Waitressing or whatever?
Yeah.
You just moved from town to town? Mm-hmm. Never got pregnant?
God, no. He was, no.
Okay. He was...
Fixed.
Oh, okay.
Fixed, yeah.
And did you like your life?
No.
At the time, did you like it?
I thought I did.
Okay.
I thought I did. I mean, I was doing...
Do you think it was exciting?
I did.
Around? Yeah.
I did. I moved to Oregon 2 weeks before Mount St. Helen blew up. I used to gold mine in Arizona and carry a gun on my side, and thought I was really tough because I had a gun. So I just did all kinds of crazies, but I always worked.
But at the time you liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, I don't at the time I don't know that I was capable of any feelings.
Okay.
I mean, it's just the way it was.
All right.
I don't know that I liked it or disliked it.
But you thought it was better than living in Des Moines, Iowa.
Mac, I don't think I had a thought.
Okay.
I mean, it's just I was afraid to go home.
Why?
Well, because I would have gotten in trouble. I'd have been grounded forever. But I just was afraid. I've always had this fear of my father.
Okay.
So
are your parents still living?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to talk to your mom and dad about what that was like for them?
I have.
And what did they say?
My father told me that.
Were you the only daughter?
No, four
Okay.
kids, all
Four
within
kids.
3.5 years of each other.
And the other three were good kids?
My sister, yeah, she was the golden child.
Okay.
She was very smart, very accomplished.
Is
woman.
she older or younger?
Older.
So were you compared to her, or did you feel like you were being compared, and that's where you felt the less than?
I felt like I could never live up to her standards.
Yeah.
So there was some abuse then too. I kind of forgot about that and during when I was at home and like 13, 14, or 15 or somewhere in there.
Sexual abuse?
Yes.
By? No, never mind. Don't say
I won't say the name.
Oh, okay.
But my older brother was a musician, an aspiring musician, and he was in a band, and it was the manager of their band.
Okay.
And my parents never knew. I never told anyone.
Okay. So what did your father say about those years that you were gone?
He just, it was actually when I made amends to him. But I still carry guilt for what I must have put them through, especially as a parent. I have a better understanding, but he just said it was all forgiven.
Well, if he forgave you, and you know God has forgiven you, the guilt is coming from the deceiver.
Right.
Well, get rid of it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't have a relationship with him that way.
Yeah.
You get to choose that,
I know.
Seriously.
I know.
I mean, mom and dad aren't making you feel bad about it.
No.
You've made amends. I don't mean to preach,
No, that's
Christy,
okay.
but that when I find myself in that position, feeling bad about something from years ago, I always remember, oh, I was forgiven by them. I was forgiven by God. So it's just this thing between the accuser and I that he's trying to eat my lunch every day on it. All right. We're going to take our first break. What happened next? There's alcohol and drugs, I'm assuming, in this relationship. There's estrangement from her family. Something had to change. What happened? That's next, live here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC and webcast1live.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
If you choose to obey the power of sin it leads to death. If you choose to obey obedience, it leads to righteousness.
Forgiveness is just the beginning of life in Christ. God wants us to live for Him now.
And because of Jesus Christ, the gospel was preached, and you and I are blessed today because of Abraham. Did you know that? We're blessed.
Experience Truth, 99.3 FM.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
It's the 22nd day of July in the Lord's year 2013. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC. Lila Stafford, my guest host today, Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. We're being produced by Ryan, and our special guest today is Christy. All right, so we are now 22, 23?
Yeah, somewhere in there, yeah.
Living out in the Wild West.
Yeah.
Shacking up with this dude.
Yes.
Don't know whether your life's good or not. You think it is, but you didn't really think about it. Any joy that you can recall from those days?
No.
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 So when did you come back to Des Moines?
I was probably 23 or 24 when I came back for good.
Okay.
Or, well, for good, I guess.
What made you come home?
Well, he beat me up and threw my clothes in a garbage bag and dropped me off at a Greyhound bus station.
Wow.
With a ticket, and that was it.
That was it.
So I came home, and my mother picked me up at the bus station, and she walked right past me. She didn't even recognize me.
Well, how had you changed?
Well, my face was a little messed up.
Okay.
But my hair was different, I suppose.
All right.
I don't know that I changed that much, but I was pretty messed up.
Okay. So your mom took you home, got you back into good health.
Yeah.
And were you still using and drinking?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And what did they say about that?
Well, I was an adult then, so there wasn't much she could say, and I didn't do it in front of her, and
You were respectful for that.
Yes.
When did it get out of control?
It was always out of control.
When were you sick and tired of being sick and tired?
Probably a year after I started getting sober, and I had relapsed twice.
Okay, so when did you start to get sober?
It would have been in
Your
85.
Your age. So
yeah, so 35. I was 35.
You were 35 years old, and you were trying to get sober. No, you wouldn't have been 35 because you were 17 in 77.
Okay.
So 5, 6, 7, you would have been 23. No. Okay.
I was 35 when I went to treatment.
All right.
That I'm sure of.
All right. So
a lot of the other years are kind of foggy to me. So.
That's all right. I just do this for the.
I can tell you approximately.
I just do this for the folks so they have a timeline about what's going on. All right. So you're 35 years old and you went to treatment for the first time. Why? What caused that to happen? Was that a court issue or was
No, I had I'm looking at Lila because Lila knows this story. I had my ex-husband.
So you've been married in between.
Yeah, I met and married this guy. I met him in a bar.
Okay.
And married him a year later.
Okay.
And he was truly a sick individual, still is. So anyway, towards the end of my drinking and using, I was doing a lot of methamphetamine.
Okay.
And my ex-husband didn't like that very much. He was okay with the drinking part. He never worked or did anything like that. So he liked having control.
He never worked, so you worked and paid for everything.
Yeah.
And that was okay with you?
Well, I was drunk all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I would get up in the morning, I would go to work, I would come home, I would drink and pass out. I would get up in the morning, I would go to work, I would come home, drink, and I would pass out. And I just did that for years. That was my life forever.
And it didn't impact your work. You were able to keep that out of there.
Well, not that I was aware of it at the time.
Right. Well, and one of the things, if you've never known or heard anybody's story who's an alcoholic, one of the things that as an alcoholic we discover, or I guess I won't speak for you, I'll speak for myself, was even when I was quote unquote not drinking. So at noon I was sober because I never drank till, like you, I drank when I got home from work. Mm-hmm. But the actions that we took in everyday life was that because of the alcohol. Mm-hmm. Alcoholics do things. You said earlier you were a liar. Boy, it's the hardest thing for me to accept, but alcoholics are liars. Mm-hmm. We're not willing to tell somebody the answer they don't want to hear because we can't.
Did I say I was a liar?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I can play the tape back.
Just checking.
And so you do things during the day and at work and with your family, and you don't think it has anything to do with alcohol because you were sober the moment you did it. But it has everything to do with alcoholism.
I was very angry.
Okay.
When I went into treatment.
Whoa. I remember that.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember Christy back then. Mm-hmm. And she was angry, an angry young lady.
What were you angry? Just everything built up and that was it?
Yeah, anger, and I've done a lot of work around anger over the years, especially early on, but one thing I learned is anger is a byproduct of all my other emotions, and I didn't know how to deal with any emotion. I didn't have any. I had no emotions. It was just everything was anger, and that really was kind of a protection thing for me. It kept people
underneath
away.
anger many times is fear, so
Yes.
it could be
Right.
fear of just having to live life,
Yeah.
find out who
Yeah.
you were, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, all right, so you're married to this guy and he never works and you do everything. Did you have a baby?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how'd you do that as a mom, getting drunk every night?
Well, I didn't drink when I was pregnant.
Isn't that strange?
Isn't that something? Yeah.
And I've heard that story before.
Oh, I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, but Lila, help me with that. What does that mean? You're an alcoholic, you have a disease, you can't stop doing it, but the moment you find you're going to be a mother, you can stop.
Because this is my interpretation, because that's actually when I quit drinking myself. I found something that I loved more than myself. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care what happens to me, but I wouldn't want to put this on an innocent child.
And I've heard that for women who drink through the pregnancy, it's not good for the baby. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, right.
The baby grows up to be bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're single, you got a baby, and
Well, I was married when I had the baby.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
But you're at 35 and you're getting ready to go into treatment.
Yes.
What caused that event?
I was doing a lot of methamphetamine. I think I said that. And at work. And at that time, my routine was I would leave home very early in the morning. I would do lines, stop and buy a couple packs of cigarettes and a cappuccino, and I would go to work and do lines all day long. And then I would buy a can of pop on my way out of the office, and I would dump it out on the way to my car, fill it up with vodka, drink that on the way to my daughter's daycare. So anyway, my ex-husband thought that the methamphetamine was probably a problem. So he took my daughter from me and told me I would never see her again unless I went to treatment. And
Legally took her or just took her?
No, just took her.
Okay.
Took her and hit her or did whatever with her. And I was pretty angry at that.
I'll bet.
Would be an understatement. But I refused to let anybody help me or take me. So... and I knew they were going to drug test me when I went in. So I did the last of my methamphetamine, but I didn't drink because I didn't want them to smell it on me.
Why did you think they were going to drug test you?
Well, you're going into treatment. They always drug test because I was denied it.
I thought you meant work.
No, I denied everything. I mean, I didn't admit to.
Right.
I didn't admit to doing drugs or any of that. I wasn't doing any methamphetamine. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
No. I lied about all that. And so I drank this tea stuff, and I don't remember exactly. Yeah, you have to drink like 2 gallons in an hour. It's just awful. Anyway, I tested clean. And I was pretty proud of that because it's like, see, I told you so. And they didn't believe me. And anyway, so that's how I got forced into treatment. And I was there for a couple weeks. And my ex-husband thought I was doing so good that he bought me a bottle of vodka on the weekend to celebrate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I almost got kicked out.
Oh,
so my insurance wouldn't pay for me to be inpatient. So they came up with a new schedule for me, which was 9 in the morning till 9 at night. But the fog had started to lift just a little bit. And I started to realize the person that I was with. And before the end of treatment, I was ready for a divorce. I was done. So.
And did you stay sober?
Well, the first year, I made it almost 6 months and I drank.
Okay.
I made it almost 6 months and I drank.
Okay.
And it was after the second relapse that I really admitted and believed that I was really an alcoholic, that once I start, I can't stop. And I can't stop myself from starting.
You can't stop. Okay.
So I didn't think it was an issue before.
And were you going through any 12-step programs or anything like that after treatment?
I was in it. Immediately went into a 12-step program. I was going to this program, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
And it was recommended to me strongly that I do 90 meetings in 90 days.
Right.
But I didn't have time. I was a single parent.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time. And after my second relapse, I had to look at my priorities.
You did aftercare.
I did aftercare too. That's where I met you.
Yeah.
Lila was my first sponsor.
Really?
Yeah, I met her in aftercare. They said in treatment, find somebody who has what you want.
Right.
And Lila was a facilitator, and I'm looking at her, and she is tall and tan. She's gorgeous, drop dead good looking, and she was well spoken. And I thought, that's what I want. I want to be tall.
She liked my socks, I think.
You did. I even went out and bought the same outfit she had on.
I remember that story. Now, as I recall, that's the same way you chose your first sponsor.
Yes. So maybe there's because you're told that go find somebody that you want to be like, and that's about how deep I was. I chose someone that was beautiful, and I just wanted. She was on TV. I thought I want to be on TV, and that's as deep as it went.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, when you're in a 12-step program, you get a sponsor, and what that sponsor does is guide you through the 12 steps. And there are some sponsors. I think your husband's probably this way, that are pretty tough.
Yes.
That are hard driving. There's other guys that I know. And some sponsors are just there to be a wall when you need to flip on or hit or something like that. But anyone in a 12-step program will tell you that sponsorship is crucial. Mm-hmm. It's not an option. It's crucial.
And I'm not that strict, and Christy needed somebody to be really strict with her.
Yeah. Lila loved me too much.
So how long?
She was too kind to me.
So did she fire you or you fire her?
I don't.
She relapsed, and then she realized she needed somebody that was more strict.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So after the second relapse, do you remember what made you relapse? Did you think you could do it and didn't have a problem anymore?
I did. I didn't think it was a problem to begin with. I was going through a divorce. My ex-husband was just doing all kinds of crazy stuff, trying to make me look bad in divorce court. He was fighting me for custody. And then the truth is, and I figured out later, he didn't want custody of my daughter, because for him to get custody, he would have had to get a job and keep it. And that really, I knew that wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, he did crazy stuff.
I remember your car. You had to hide your car or something.
I did. He kept trying to take my car from me, and he's still crazy over this boat I bought.
Today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, wait, hold on. You own a boat today?
No, I don't. No.
Oh, but back then you owned a boat.
Back then I owned a boat.
And he would
He wanted the boat. Did
he like the water?
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
Did he get the
you
boat?
bought it. You were the one that worked.
I was the
and
only one
bought-
that worked. Yeah, I bought the boat. Yeah. But anyway, I don't remember what happened. I probably sold it, but to be honest, I don't remember. I mean, so much of that is such a fog. What I do remember is the abuse,
In the
that
marriage.
I suffered from him. Yes.
Okay, twice relapsed. 36, 37 years old. It's time to either figure this out or die. And that's the decision that Christy made, was to figure it out. We'll hear the rest of her story when we come back. Live here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC, powered by webcast1live.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager
I'm the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, it's got to be, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? You can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.
It's 22nd day, July. Lord's Year 2013. I'm J. Michael McCoy. 22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Michael Mudloff with True Blue. That's today, live on 99.3 KTIA. Lila Stafford in the house from Powell CDC. Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hats, watching the chat. Ryan is producing. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and if I haven't told you lately, thanks for watching and listening. I love this job, and I really couldn't do it without you, so thanks for being here. Christy is our special guest today. We're now 37 years old, relapsed twice, and what happened after the second time that made you realize that you couldn't do this anymore?
That I couldn't drink anymore?
Yeah, that you were, yeah.
I think
maybe that wasn't the time that you figured it out.
No, I think it's when I really realized that I was an alcoholic and I did not have control. I always thought I had control.
Right.
I drank and used every day, but I didn't think that was an issue.
Okay.
Because I hadn't lost anything.
Right.
Except for an abusive husband, which really kind of worked out in the long run.
Yeah.
So, but I after the second relapse, I for no reason stopped at some drugstore somewhere, and I was going to just have one drink. So I bought a pint of vodka, and that was my one drink, and I ended up being drunk for a week, and I didn't go to work for that week, and I never miss work. I just don't miss work. I called in sick every day for a week, and then I called Dee Hummel.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I called Dee, and I was drunk, and it was nighttime, and she told me.
And you knew her because she was a facilitator at Powell.
She was one of the counselors at Powell, and actually she was one that I didn't like because she's
tough.
That's right. I didn't like what she told me. So but I called Dee, and Dee told me to take a long hot shower, and then get on my knees and tell God that I can't do it alone. And she said, and then go to bed, go to sleep, and call me in the morning. And so I did that. And that's when it started to change for me.
You think the prayer helped?
I think it was a surrender.
Okay.
I surrendered to God.
Okay.
And I surrendered to the disease and the program, and I realized it. I can't do this alone.
And you've been sober since?
Yes.
How long?
17 years.
17 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when I first, and everybody tells the same story. I remember when I first started going to meetings and people had 5, 10, 15, 20 years of sobriety, and it was like, I can't do that. Yeah. There's no way I can do that. Yeah. But you do. You find a way to do it.
Yeah.
That thing you said about surrendering is the most important thing.
I think it is. Yeah.
When I was in treatment, I could tell I was sober when I went to treatment, but I could tell which people were going to make it and which people weren't, and they were the people that had surrendered were the ones that were going to make it.
How could you? Now, pardon me asking this. How could you tell they had surrendered? It wasn't simply because
there was a calmness about them and a willingness to want to get it.
Okay,
and that's even true today as a counselor. You have people that are fighting you the whole time and arguing, and they don't want to do it, and they want to be in control, and you know right then that. It may take just a little longer for them to get it.
Yeah, I remember going through my first DUI, and I was court ordered to go to Powell, and I didn't care. I was there to get my brownie points and the judge to sign off, and I could go back out doing what I was doing. It never fazed me, anything that was said. It never fazed me that I had a problem.
Yeah.
What I had was a driving problem. Then I did that while I was drinking, and that's what I shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I ran in, this is so cool, about a year ago now. So my first DUI was 94. So we're 18 years later, I run into a guy who said, you don't remember me, do you? And I said, no. And he said, after you first went into Powell, he said, I called you every once in a while and invited you to meetings, and you'd always make an excuse, and then finally I just stopped calling you. And I remembered that guy.
Whoa.
And that was real weird because it was always like, why does this guy care about me? Oh. But it's the 12-step way. That's what we do. Why does this guy care? Why does he keep calling me? And I wasted so many years,
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that? How many years you wasted because you didn't get into treatment before you did?
No.
Okay, you think you were meant to go to treatment when you did?
I believe things happen for a reason, and I think they happen when they're supposed to. And I think I had to go through what I went through to be the person I am today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
your first year of sobriety, easy, hard?
No, I barely remember the first 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
I was so messed up, and I was just rageful.
Still
at everything. Mad. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm looking at Lila. It was a number of years.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you'd share in meetings, you just blah.
Yeah, and it was every.
You could feel it when you're around her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's oozing out.
Yeah, and my language was quite colorful.
Mine still is.
Yeah, it was every other word was
something bad.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
And when was there an event in which you realized that you were that way and you could now get rid of it and change it?
No.
No.
I knew I was angry because everybody told me that I was angry.
But that's just who you thought you were.
Yeah, it's just who I thought I was. But it was just, I think it was just over a period of time of working the 12 steps and working with my sponsor and hanging out with other people. And one day, when I woke up, I thought, I'm not mad anymore. And I think I had not been mad for quite a while.
You've been mad since you were 11, 12, probably.
I just realized it. Yeah. So.
What was, if you don't mind sharing, what was your amend like with your mom?
With my mom?
Yeah.
It was easy.
Okay. She loved you anyway.
Yeah, she loved me anyway.
Okay. With your dad?
Scary. My father, I think we've always had this fear of each other.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure why.
Okay.
Probably because I wasn't a boy, and I'm not my twin brother, and I wasn't the academic my sister was, and so I was the black sheep. I was the one that was always in trouble. So I was afraid of him.
Okay.
And parents and
but he never hurt you.
No.
He wasn't abusive emotionally or physically. Okay.
No, he'd make me go out in the back lot and dig up dandelions with a butter knife if I did something wrong. So he was that kind of punisher, but no, he never hit us kids or anything.
Okay, all right. So what was the amend like? You were scared of each other.
I was scared, and I told him. You know what I did? I told him something I shouldn't have.
Okay.
I told him that I had stole the shotgun from him.
Okay.
And he never knew who stole that shotgun, and I should have talked to Lila first. I was just wanted to get through the steps. I just wanted to get through it, and get done with it. I really hurt him. He didn't know that was for me. I remember I took it. He had it locked up, and I knew where the key was, and I sold it for $200 to buy drugs.
Oh my!
And I really hurt him. So
now, Lila, as a sponsor, did she do the wrong thing in telling him that? Would you have advised her not to? I mean, as a sponsor, I would probably encourage my sponsoree to admit that you stole something from your parent or someone, and you need to amend that.
Yeah, I
theft.
think I would ask more questions first about how it would affect him, and if you in the end are hurting somebody more, then the answer would be no.
Right.
But sometimes you don't know that until you've done it.
Yeah, and you obviously didn't think it would devastate him that way.
No. Mac, at that time, I just couldn't hardly put any thoughts together. I mean, I really was in a fog, for the first number of years. I just, but I think that kind of worked to my benefit because I could, someone would tell me to do something and I'd say, okay, and I kind of muddle along and I'd do it, but I don't think I was capable of many thoughts at that time.
You're not going to believe the woman she's become. What her life is like now, the rest of Christy's story, when we come back. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job, and I couldn't do it without you. Brought to you by Powell CDC and powered by WebcastOneLive.com. This is Recovery Mondays.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, But you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Before the top, 22nd day of July. Our guest is Christy today on Recovery Monday. This is a program brought to you by Powell CDC, and the CDC stands for
Chemical Dependency Center.
That's the phone number to call when you have questions. Now, maybe you're calling about your friend, wink, wink, and that's okay. That's okay. Maybe you're calling about a sibling. Maybe you're calling about a child or a spouse. You got to make the call. Okay, you got to make the call. Do not be an enabler. If they get upset with you, nobody cares. They'll get over it. Got to make the call. People who have an alcohol and drug addiction do one of two things: get well or die. Okay? Anybody in recovery will tell you that when they made the choice to get well, the only other option was die. Nobody dies accidentally as an alcoholic or a drug addict. You intend to kill yourself slowly, methodically, and everybody around you is dying in pain because of the pain that you feel. So if there's somebody in your life that's like that, make the call to Powell. They're not going to come take them away in white coats. Once you call, there's not some paper trail. Oh, I can't go back. It doesn't happen like that. What happens is you begin the conversation with people like Lila, other counselors, and you begin to get the answers that you need. Powell CDC. Just write it down somewhere, and the next time life hits you in the head with an alcoholic or a drug addict, that's the place you call. Okay? All right, let's finish Christy's story. Now you are, it seems by the outside, incredibly happily married to just the greatest guy in the world.
Yes.
I'm sure the two of you get in disagreements because you're both honest and outward people, but I severely doubt whether your marriage is in trouble. He's in the program. Tell me how you met.
We met in a church parking lot, and I went to a meeting that I had not gone to before, and I was at my father's house, and I just needed a meeting. I asked my dad if he could watch my daughter so I could go to a meeting, and he said yes, and I pulled in, and Brad told me the first thing he noticed was how clean my tires were. So
clean your tire. Why were your tires clean?
Because I spray black stuff to make them shine.
Okay.
I like clean cars.
Okay.
And so that he was impressed by my clean car. And anyway, so this friend,
his cars are always clean.
Yes, yes, immaculate.
I saw him like licking something the other day.
I'm sure you did. Yeah. So this friend that we both knew introduced us, and at
the meeting?
Before the meeting started,
okay.
And we walked in and sat in the meeting together, walked out, and then said goodbye, and I took off to go get my daughter, and he was following me. So, and we kind of joke about that now that he stalked me.
Did you know he was following you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course I did. Yeah.
He followed you to your house, your dad's house.
Well, my dad's house. Yeah. He lived by my father, which I didn't know.
Okay.
So he was going the same direction, and he flashed his lights at me. So I pulled over, and he asked me if I wanted to come to his house for coffee. And it's like 9:30 at night on a work night.
School night.
Yeah, school night, work night. And I said no, but I would the next week.
Okay.
And then we've been together ever since.
So was there any, as you sat in that first meeting next to each other, any spark, any
There was for me, yes.
For you?
Yeah, yeah.
Love at first sight?
I think so.
Okay.
I was never, ever going to marry again. I had no interest in men. I didn't want to date. I was, I didn't need it.
Yeah.
I didn't need it. Every relationship I'd been in had been abusive, and I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to, so...
That's funny that you should say that, because that was the story between my wife and I.
Yeah.
I was done. I had my kids. I wasn't going to get married again. I was just going to be a single bachelor, and I met my wife at a Jerry Lewis telethon. And Lila, I'll never forget her walking up to me. And I just thought, that is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And she had been listening to me on the radio for years.
Oh.
And so she knew me. Because I'm the way I am today. My life's just laid out there.
Yeah.
And so she knew me, and she felt like, we were really good friends. And so our relationship started at like a 5 rather than a 1.
Yeah.
But I will go to heaven telling people I know what love at first sight is.
Yeah.
Fell hard.
Well, I don't think he thought that. He probably thought, look at that dork waddling over there, because I was... I did. I waddled. I've never been able to walk like a girl or anything like that.
So as your relationship, as the two of you spent more time together, when did that barrier inside your head break that, well, maybe I could have a relationship. Maybe I could be married again?
Let me see. It was about 9:30 when I left the meeting. So by the time I got to my dad's house, 9:45, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. I went to work the next day telling a friend of mine, this is the guy I'm going to marry.
Wow.
So.
Wow. So
he had a job.
So then you became the stalker. Yeah, he had a job and he was breathing.
Yeah, that's right.
And he kept his car clean.
That's right. That's right.
And how long have you guys been together?
We've been together 16 years. We dated for 4 years.
Okay. Why the reluctancy to get married for 4 years?
Well,
was it on his part?
Yes. He was afraid of being a father.
Okay. To your daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how old was your daughter when you got married?
She was, I don't know, 6, 7, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm.
Is he a good dad?
Yeah, he's great.
Okay.
He's really good to her, and he's been very good to me.
They have a good relationship?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And now you're a grandma.
I am a grandma.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is.
I remember when my grandson was born, my latest grandson, Gibson, and I thought to myself, he's never going to see Grandpa drunk. Mm-hmm. He's never going to see Grandpa drunk. Mm-hmm. So that was, that's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and so when, I got to ask this question, when does the fact that you're both in the program not a good thing?
I don't know that it's ever not been a good thing.
Okay.
So I think it's always been a good thing. We're both very active in the program.
Yes, you are. You're wonderful.
And we are sponsored. We sponsor. We hang out with people in recovery.
I can tell you when it's not good. It's when your husband says, "I think you need a meeting."
Okay.
Does Brad ever do that? Like it's sort of like he's working the program for you.
Yeah. And that's what I kind of meant.
He has, but I haven't really. I mean, when he has said that to me, he's right.
Oh yeah.
So I can't really say no. I don't.
Does Jim tell you when you need a meeting?
He hasn't so much lately, but there was a time when he did, and he was right. But it made me mad.
Made me mad. Yeah.
I said that to Brad once.
That you need a meeting?
Yeah, you need a meeting, Brad.
And what'd he say?
Well, I don't remember specifically, but it wasn't good, and I've never said it again. So.
Oh, well, it would be fun to get you and Brad on together sometime. Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
he is. And we appreciate all that you've done for everybody in the program. They really are. There really are people in the program. There are people in the program who come into the rooms and you don't see them. You don't notice them while they're in the room, and you don't see them leave. And then there are people like Christy and Brad who make their presence known and serve other people with everything they've got. So we really appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
Lila, thank you. You're on vacation next week, so we'll see Dee here.
Yep.
Bob Montserrat, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate it. Ryan, thanks for producing. And before you lay your head down on your pillow tonight, make a gratitude list. I want you to write down 5 things you're grateful for. And then put that list under your pillow and thank God for your life. We'll see you tomorrow.